everyone, myself Pooja Soni. Today I'm gonna talk about PDO, that is PHP Data Object. First, let me tell you, in web technology, PHP enjoys the lion's share when it comes to server-side scripting language. Gone are the days when you would just upload a bunch of HTML and PHP script and call it a website. No ways. Nowadays, you definitely require a database server to power your website. So, why PHP PDO for database access? If you stepped in PHP world, you might love working with MySQL extension. It's fine, it's good for gaining knowledge, but let me remind you, it enjoys lion's share. And what is the price of enjoying lion's share on internet? A target for attackers? Guess what most of the attackers are after? Of course, a web applications database. This could be user IDs, email address, passwords, credit card numbers, or any confidential information. A sure easy way for attackers for getting the data is using SQL injection. In SQL injection, attackers uses different SQL queries like select star from table users to get all user information. Most new PHP programmers write raw SQL statement and do not usually sanitize the supplied user input. This makes them vulnerable to SQL injection attacks. So, this is where PHP PDO comes in. Let me give one real life example by my story. Just before 7 to 8 months, I developed a nice full functional with great many featured website in MySQL as my final year project. I was so excited to put it live. But the problem is, you know what? It is not secure. Of course, I had tried to make it fully object oriented, but as it is in MySQL, it is not at all secure. What is the use of keeping website live in which there is a fear of threat and which contains sensitive information of user? So, here's the first advantage. Security against SQL injection attacks. Security is important to get any website live. Again, what is the use of creating the web application which is not at all secure with sensitive information of user? Hence, I do believe security is must. Now, the another advantage is PDO is object oriented. You can see object lies in its name only. PHP data object. The most important part in object orientation is that it follows try concept. Try means don't repeat yourself. The same code will be reusable for many different purposes, which results in more features in less code, and at the same time code will be equally maintainable. That is what required. Now, let me continue to my final year project story. Of course, I had tried to make my project fully object oriented, but you may know that only some OO functionalities were included in PHP with MySQL. Hence, pure object orientation is not possible only. So, according to me, to become a good developer, you must learn object oriented programming, which is really beneficial for a long run. Now, the another advantage, and that is abstraction. Abstraction simply means to hide relevant information. Imagine that you have written a killer application using MySQL at your current workplace, and all of a sudden someone up the chain decides that you must migrate your application to use PostgreSQL, which is not a database driver. What are you going to do? You have to do a lot of messy replaces like converting MySQL Connect or MySQL iConnect to PG Connect and etc. And if you are using PDO, it would be very simple. Just a few parameters in the main configuration file would need changing and you are done. And let me mention, PDO supports many database drivers, and some of the supported databases are MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle Call Interface, ODBC, PostgreSQL, SQLite 3 and SQLite 2, SQL Server, SQL Azure, 4D and etc. So this adds magic as the same code used for different databases. Now, the another advantage is it allows parameter binding. Parameter binding is a feature that allows you to replace placeholders in your query with the value of variable. So, let me give one MySQL example which doesn't allow parameter binding so that you will get exact idea about its use. So, here's the MySQL I code to fetch data from ID. Suppose I want to get user information with ID 5, then the SQL code which will be used is select star from users where ID is equal to $ID. You can see here I had directly kept the $ID variable inside the query. Now to execute the query, I'm gonna need MySQLi underscore query function with $connection variable, which is a database connection variable, and $SQL variable of a query. Okay, so move on to PDO. First let me tell you, PDO supports the prepare statement. So before executing our query, we must first prepare it. Here's the PDO code to fetch data from ID. Now the same way, if I want to get a user information with ID 5, then first I need to prepare my query. So I am taking the whole prepared query in $HTML variable, and $connection is a database variable, and select star from user where ID is equal to ID is a query which I am preparing, and you can see here I kept the variable directly inside the query, but I am using a placeholder. You can use any random placeholder whichever you like. Now the statement including ID placeholder to the database management system. The database management system parses and compiles that query, and based on your configuration may even cache it for a performance boost in the future. Now, as per parameter binding definition, I had replaced placeholder with a variable with the use of bind param function inside the prepare statement and executing the query. Likewise, having a prepared statement results performance boost when running a query multiple times. Let's say that we want to retrieve a list of 5 random people from our users table. You don't have to know at runtime how many placeholders you will have. Hence, your application will be much safer against SQL injections too. Now the final thing which I want to mention is the MySQL extension is no longer supported. Yes. So before coming to this point, let me complete my final year project story. Okay. So we had actually developed our project in WAMP server 2.4 when I was working. Hence, when we were about to complete our project, somehow I had upgraded my WAMP to 2.5. And you know the result of this attempt? I got a bunch of error regarding MySQL extension as it is deprecated and not being used in a newer version, etc. Hence, for a temporary fix, we gone back again to WAMP 2.4, which is not so secure version of WAMP server, and we had completed our entire project in it. So I have to say that our project is really not used success for us, regardless of its features used, as the technology in which we had made our project is deprecated. You cannot see here anyone wear a traditional and old clothes in market. Everyone loves to live with an existing trend and also feel comfortable and proud in it. Hence I was among one who was in old clothes in market. Let me tell you the truth. Still my project is not runnable in this existing version of WAMP server. So if you are among one who just don't want to complete their final year project but want to complete it successfully by putting it live, I strictly recommend you to use PDO in your project. Of course, you can know about MySQL or MySQLi extension by making some programs in it. But for making the whole project, then please do not repeat the mistake which I had made. PDO is the best solution for making the final year project. Okay, now come to the point. Yes, I want to mention that MySQL extension is removed from PHP 7. That means if you are going to use PHP 7, you need to change all these functions to MySQLi instead of MySQL. This is the great time to just upgrade straight to PDO, as it even helps you in writing maintainable portable code with much less effort. Plus, your code will have a functionality of good readability, good maintainability, and also have a good speed. So, these are just few advantages of PDO under my consideration. If you disagree with me in any point, comment box is open for you, and if it helped you get some good information, then like and comment below. And yes, to keep learning web development, just subscribe to my channel Pooja Soni 1.